I've been slaving all way. I feel it, babe, night to the morning. Ain't no stopping. Oh, no, no, no.
Hey, what's good, everyone? Good afternoon. Gonna hop on, go over our trade here this afternoon. Only trade of the day. Right, you'll see. Zoom out. Nothing here this morning. We were kind of following it early on, but pretty ugly. So we could have went short, right? We were in a seeking to short profile to target the volume imbalance, but for me, I just kind of let it play out, walked away. Figured there'd be a better opportunity here this afternoon, and that's what we capitalized on. So before we even get into that, we'll kind of talk about what led up to this entry. The entry itself, I mean, that's beautiful, right? Absolute perfect entry. Can't get any better than this. Swing low entry, right on the breaker block, inside that fair value gap. Swing high exit, right at a swing high. And why did I exit here? You saw that we actually moved our TP. And that's because if we go to a 15-minute, all right, we go to our left, you'll actually notice we had a 15-minute volume imbalance here. Two of them, right? So one here, low and high, same volume imbalance here as well. This is that hidden one, right? We close here and open lower. Sort of the untrained eye made it look like nothing, but we understand that's a pretty sensitive volume imbalance. And that's what our exit actually came on. Right, so we create that high there first, and then we went ahead and just adjusted the TP to that volume imbalance in case we wanted to retrace. We probably still will run out this level here, which is new week opening gap, consequent encroachment. Pair that with the blue level, which is the previous day high. So I still expect price will want to try to draw up into that area. But for us, no need to reach for that extra right 3, 4 handles, honestly. We're content with the move that we had from low to high. I mean, that in itself right there is what? Another 27 handles on top of the 50 handles we got yesterday. So yeah, no need to be greedy. If we run through that high and reach our objective, we're still content with that exit there, right? We like that swing high exit. So as we kind of hop into the actual trade itself, as we mentioned, what led up to that trade, let's move some of these. We spoke about yesterday how we're playing around still this daily volume imbalance. So on a daily level, we're still going to be looking at this area, right? It's going to be sensitive to us. We understand on these lower time frames, we can go down and back up through them multiple times, and that does not invalidate those areas. Right? As long as we get setups forming and respecting there, we're still going to trust that. So today on a 15-minute, really the same thing we got yesterday. Right? We had created some short-term highs here in London. We then retraced lower into this volume imbalance, heading into the New York session. New York session clears out some liquidity, right? Short-term low being cleared. You notice how we're still respecting the daily fair value gap here, as well as the daily volume imbalance. And from there, we accelerate higher. As we get back above that daily fair value gap, we then find support there, right? We also have the breaker. So once again, multiple PD arrays being stacked up. We hit it once, give a slight retracement into it a second time, and then we get that release into basically the objective we were reaching for. Right, final target is previous day high. We don't need to get into the final target to be profitable, however, and that's what you see here. 15-minute was actually backing up this trade as well, so that's good to see. Or in a 15-minute sense, we have that higher time frame fair value gap, and we're aiming to enter on consequent encroachment. Consequent encroachment aligned with the lower time frame OB, or breaker block, and you'll see that as we work into it. We just wanted to kind of create the overall narrative of why we're expecting bullishness to continue. Right, short-term low cleared inside of a predetermined discount. We already ran out low significantly yesterday, and we have some highs that should be targeted, as well as this new week opening gap and the actual gap in price here that price is going to want to reach for. Right, and that's yesterday's high. So that really becomes final target. We should get up into there, I would assume. Anyways, as we work down to now the 1 minute, there goes price. Should start taking off now. But as we get down to the 1 minute, same thing. Right, so as we said, pretty ugly in here early on. We then displace up above that daily fair value gap paired with new day opening gap. As we displace through this, we don't expect to return into this. That becomes a breakaway gap because everything in here is already balanced. Right, up, down, up, down, up, down. As we displace above it, we shouldn't return into that, especially as we close above the daily fair value gap for the first time here on this candle. And you'll actually notice how that offers us support basically the rest of the morning. Right, so we close above that, find support, engineer just a little short-term low, run out that liquidity into that discount, and then we accelerate again. As we mentioned, we do retrace into this a few times, but that daily fair value gap continues to offer us support. So as long as that happens, we're still going to look for bullishness to continue. We left the morning play out, right? We get that retracement, we move away. As we start heading into the afternoon now, we once again create a little bit of consolidation. So we're going to move this for now. We'll keep the 15, that becomes important to us. But we have this slight consolidation. This high becomes an important high for us. It's an intermediate swing point. So when we close above that high here with this candle, that to us is setting into motion the fact that we can continue to look for buy-side delivery into basically yesterday's high as our target. We're still simply watching, however, this is lunch, not too interested. And we notice right as we're coming out of lunch, we create that displacement once again through a high. So this is really what we keyed off of, right? That's what you'll see the entries playing off of. We're playing off of this displacement candle, which is also the 15-minute fair value gap candle. We aimed for the entry on that consequent encroachment because if we look left, right, what do we have? We have a low, we have a high, we have a lower low. Broken through with displacement, that becomes our breaker block. So the consecutive up close candles, right, we can refine it to really just that highest up close, which is here. That becomes our entry point. And that's why you see we can enter with such precision here, right on that level. Notice how consequent encroachment and the breaker high are overlapping. That right there is a dead giveaway that this is going to be a pretty key area in price, and we should be able to find support here. Not to mention, we are now creating seek and destroy, and we've left lows just above that level. So once again, just like yesterday, just beautiful entry. Right, price is showing us what it's going to do. We have displaced away, we've left a breaker, and now we're engineering liquidity right above that. Low, or high, low, higher high, lower low. No higher high this time, however. Lower low again, higher high. Right, we failed to make that lower low, higher high. So at this point, when we can't get into new week opening gap, we're creating seek and destroy. We want to see these lows be cleared, and we have an area of support. We'll take that trade 10 times out of 10. And that's why we catch that swing low beautifully before price rips right through the highs that we had created. And that's why you'll notice, right, just like we had done this morning with kind of this little seek and destroy, when we displace through the high finally, so this high here, we displace through it, we don't have to return into that fair value gap. Same idea. As we displace through this high, we'd have no really intention or need to return into any of these lower fair value gaps because this whole range from high to low has already been balanced. Right, so at this point, we want to see price just continue to rip, and that's exactly what we get. So we leave that fair value gap, we then trade into the new week opening gap. Notice how the bodies are finding support at the low of the new week opening gap. Love to see that. We want to see discounts be respected. And from there, we then accelerate. That's why you see me move my stop, because now at that point, once we accelerate away from this low, we understand we have no intention of getting back below this low. Or if we do anyways, we don't want to be in that trade. So stop loss can get moved to these lows, even though they are equal lows. We understand we shouldn't really get into that area before we reach our objective here. As you saw the exit, we create the equal highs, or just I guess one high right at that volume imbalance, and then we exit as we sweep that high. So just a liquidity exit, right? We moved it from the actual high up here because, as we mentioned already, no need to be greedy and reach for a few extra handles when we've already captured a significant move. You'll see we just ran those highs again, so at this point, just kind of returning into consolidation. It's only 2 o'clock, 2:50, excuse me. We're heading into power hour, so I would expect power hour wants to reach up into this. But for us, we're content, right? No need to push for anything. Once again, another great day. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, I hope you guys found that one helpful. Once again, kind of just going over the whole in-depth breakdown and what led up to the entry, why we expect this entry to hold. Once again, we're not looking for deep retracements, and that's because as we create ranges from low to high and we retrace into those ranges, if we're going to break above that, we shouldn't have to give deep retracements. Right? So once again, as we mentioned, from this high to this low, that's our range. So as we break through that here with this candle, we don't expect deep retracements into inefficiencies. So that's why we're okay leaving this as a breakaway, right? We're not looking for price to retrace into this. And that's why we're not scared of entering on this fair value gap. We're simply following the most recent discount. So as we break away from this range, as we mentioned, we create that breaker, we clear a low, we then displace again. The most recent displacement, that becomes our area of interest. 15-minute paired with the breaker becomes our entry. Sell side sitting just above that, so we have liquidity to take as we trade into our entry. And that's just what we love to see there. Enter on the swing low. So really it's a turtle soup, you could say, with kind of an underlying bullish structure, right? We're turtle souping the lows, but we're comfortable turtle souping that because we already have an established discount here that should hold price. That's what we get. Huge move away before finally hitting that 15-minute volume imbalance target. As we said, price more than likely will run up into previous day high, but we're content with where we are. So yeah, I hope you guys found that one helpful. Until next time, take care everybody, and we will talk later. See ya. Look at that. Price actually ended up dumping on us. So that makes that exit there even more sweet. Right, catching that swing high right at that 15-minute volume imbalance as we mentioned. Price ends up stalling out, and now more than likely we're actually just going to reverse and clear out this low to complete the giant seek and destroy here. So in all honesty, if we look, right, we have the high to a low, to a higher high, down to a lower low, up to a higher high, down to a lower low where we enter, up to a higher high, exiting here on this high, but this ends up being the highest high. And now, more than likely, as we mentioned, we clear out this low to complete that giant seek and destroy. And now we're punishing anybody that didn't take profits here and is still trying to hold this trade. So overall, beautiful day. Right, as we mentioned, we're content there. It makes it even more satisfying to end the day on that. And yeah, we'll come back tomorrow and see what we get. Take care, everybody.